Folks, let's stay focused. When Donald Trump makes posts like this, I'm creating the external revenue sources and going after all these countries that ripped us off. Stay focused. When Donald Trump makes posts like this, how bad is Seth Meyers on NBC, a network run by a truly bad group of people, MSDNC, Radical Left, Comcast? Stay focused. When Donald Trump makes posts like this, to Gavin Newsom, release the water from up north, millions of gallons, and he spreads lies like that. Stay focused. When Donald Trump makes posts like this, to show you how desperate deranged Jack Smith is, he released fake findings at 1 a.m. and Stay focused. When Donald Trump makes posts like this, deranged Jack Smith was unable to prosecute political opponent because boss Crooked Joe Biden and then Unselect Committee illegally destroyed and deleted everything. Wait for it. Stay focused. WMD, weapon of mass distraction. I can go on and read more of those posts, but they're all riddled with lies. Just take the last one that I just shared with you, where Donald Trump goes, the January 6th committee, which again, he calls some name because all he has is a name calling, the Unselect Committee. He goes, they deleted everything. Folks, Google it. January 6th committee, findings, archive, depositions, transcripts. It's all there. It's Googleable. You can Google it. But Trump lies. But I want you to stay focused. WMD, weapon of mass distraction. WMD, weapon of mass distraction. Say it with me one more time. WMD, weapon of mass distraction. Corporate media is going to try to go to all of these shiny objects, right? Oh, Donald Trump said this today. Oh, Donald Trump said that today. Oh, Donald Trump said this today. Oh my God. Look, I'm not saying that we shouldn't cover it. I'll cover it. I'll talk about it. But in the context of WMD, weapon of mass distraction, because what is Donald Trump trying to distract from? Headlines like this. Mortgage rates will remain elevated while the economy runs hot. Rates continued to rise this week after a December jobs report exceeded expectations. So, one of Donald Trump's promises was more affordable housing. But mortgage rates are making that a near impossibility for most Americans to afford housing, while Donald Trump's billionaire bros like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, who will get front row seats at Donald Trump's inauguration, they're buying their 25th mansion, their 15th private jet, Lamborghinis, and all these fancy Italian cars, while you can't even afford a home. This is from this article, WMD, weapon of mass distraction. Let's always focus on what Trump promised and what he's not going to deliver. Mortgage rates continued their ascent this week after Friday's job reports. Housing Wire's Mortgage Rate Center showed that the average 30-year conforming loan rate was 7.15% on Tuesday, up 6 basis points from a week ago. This is the highest rate pretty much since June 2024. The 15-year conforming loan rate averaged 7.34% on Tuesday, up an astonishing 23 basis points in the past week. In an ominous start to 2025 after many housing market experts predicted that mortgage rates would drop by a full percentage point or more by the end of the year, Michael Merritt, Senior Vice President of Customer Care and Default Mortgage Servicing at BOK Financial, says that there are going to be a lot of issues there as well. WMD, weapon of mass distraction. What else is Donald Trump trying to distract from? How many times during the election did we hear about egg prices? Well, egg prices are at their highest level pretty much ever. Your omelet is now more expensive. Egg prices jumped 25% in December. The U.S. is experiencing an egg shortage because of avian flu cases. Wait a minute. I thought when you blame this on Biden, I thought it was Biden's fault before. Wasn't that what all of the corporate media said? Egg prices were Biden's fault. Oh, now it's the avian flu. No, it's Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump said he was going to go and fix it. I'm not letting him off the hook. WMD, weapon of mass distraction. Donald Trump can try to make all of these posts external revenue service, we're coming for Greenland and whatever. I'm saying we should still take it seriously, but we need to control the narrative. You get what I'm saying? We need to be on the offense with narrative. We can't always just be defense and reacting and responding. Oh, he said this. Go on the offense. Trump's betrayal. He made these promises broken, and now he's trying to distract. Experts are now saying super high food prices are here to stay. Here's why. It goes on to talk about that food prices continue to outpace inflation, increasing 28% since 2019. More than 85% of consumers report feeling frustrated with rising grocery prices, and over a third say they have resorted to buying fewer items to save money, according to a 2024 survey by R.R. Donnelly. However, guess what? Experts say high food prices are here to stay. Once food price goes up, it tends to stay up, said Claudia Sam, a chief economist at New Century Advisors. Quote, the inflation may come back down so you don't see big price increases, but outside of widespread depression, we don't tend to see prices falling across the board. Experts are also skeptical of whether policy intervention can affect food prices. There's really nothing government policymakers could do about this, said Jason Miller, a professor of supply chain management at Michigan State University. Quote, this is not something unique to the United States. This has been felt around the world. And right now, we just have to wait and see how things will play out as we move forward. The uncertainties introduced by the current political climate also make it challenging to predict where food prices are headed. Quote, there's no doubt that tariffs will massively make things more expensive, especially food, said Rakeen Mahbood, chief economist at Groundwork Collaborative, a progressive advocacy group. Quote, same thing with mass deportations. We have workers in this country who really prop up our food system. And when you start to really harm that workforce and send them away, that harms our entire economy. Oh, wait a minute. So Professor Miller, you're saying that there's nothing that government policymakers can do about this, and this is not unique to the United States, and we just have to kind of wait and see, because all of the corporate media was saying that this was President Biden's fault. But what may have contributed to all of this? I don't know. When Donald Trump put us $8 trillion in debt, do you think that has something to do with it? Do you think it has something to do with it when big corporations, those billionaire bros, and some billionaire sis, but billionaire bros and some billionaire women, when they're out there, mostly bros though, when they're out there, getting the Trump tax cuts, trickle down, which never works, when they're out there colluding and price gouging, and then they set a new floor for the price because of their price gouging, and the Trump administration does not engage in antitrust enforcement at all from the DOJ, and they let him get away with it because the quid pro quo then is they become donors to Donald Trump and they price gouge. Don't you think that that's another cause for the increased prices as well? And how these billionaires and corporations are predatory and they wait for there to be crises, move the price up, and then move it a little up more. And then when the crisis abates, they don't move it back down. They keep it up. And then they talk to each other and have this kind of horizontal communications for increasing prices. Do we think that may be the cause of it? So when Donald Trump makes a post like this, I know the outrage machine, we're supposed to be outraged. I mean, look, it's outrageous when Trump goes, for far too long, we have relied on taxing our great people using the Internal Revenue Service. Through soft and pathetically weak trade agreements, the American economy has delivered growth and prosperity to the world while taxing ourselves. Pause there. Okay, NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, was renegotiated and renamed by Donald Trump. The current trade agreement that Donald Trump is saying, I think incorrectly, but he's saying is screwing us, is his trade agreement. That's why I'm saying don't get distracted. It's Trump's trade agreement with Canada and Mexico. He did it. Trump negotiated that trade agreement after NAFTA and said that this is a big, beautiful trade agreement. Then Donald Trump goes, it's time for that to change. Okay, how are you going to change it, Donald? I'm today announcing that I will create the External Revenue Service to collect our tariffs, duties, and all revenue that come from foreign sources. Well, Donald, tariffs don't come from foreign sources. Tariffs are a tax on the importing company. Tariffs are not a tax on China or Mexico or Canada. It is a tax on the American company to dissuade them from importing the goods. And then what happens is Canada, China, Mexico, the European Union, they then impose a retaliatory tariff. And in countries that have more heavy-handed governments like China, you know what they say? They go, we're not going to buy the soybeans from the United States or the fruit from them, which we're their biggest purchaser. We're just going to go and build this out in Brazil. We're going to go build this in other areas. We don't need to get this stuff from the United States. We'll develop a relationship somewhere else. So then everybody gets screwed. And also, wasn't the whole point of Doge, this fake agency, to cut back on government? So you're now creating a new government entity as well, or a branch called the External Revenue Service. And by the way, the IRS collects taxes of foreign companies that do business in the United States. And we have our Customs and Border Services. They also do this as well as it relates to certain types of duties. So it just makes no sense. We will begin charging those that make money off of us with trade, and they will start paying finally their fair share. What are you even talking about? January 2025 will be the birth date of the External Revenue Service. Make America great again. And folks, I go back to the point, WMD, weapons of mass distraction. This is not going to lower prices. This is going to increase prices. A trade war will increase the prices. The company in America will pass on the cost to the consumer. And so they're going to raise their prices of the goods that they're selling here domestically. And then also you're going to have retaliatory tariffs. So what if China were to say in response to Donald Trump doing this? What if China were to say, you know what? We are going to impose certain types of sanctions or steps against certain parts that are manufactured here in China by Apple, or we won't allow Apple to do business in China. Then Americans' iPhones start costing $5,000, $7,500. Americans can't get new iPhones. How's that going to work out? And I don't mean to use the example of iPhones because we should talk about things that are less materialistic and more necessary, food products and, other materials that we need in our day-to-day life. But that's what's going to happen. So folks, WMD, weapon of mass distraction, if we stay focused on all of these things and we recognize his hustle and go, okay, I see what he's doing. I'll call it out in these videos so you're aware of what he's saying. I'm not going to play his audio. I'm not going to play JD Vance audio. But we have to be like, oh, why is he doing that? Oh, because he's distracting. From what? That prices aren't going down and housing's not more affordable. And he didn't do peace in Ukraine in 24 hours. And he's a disaster and he just wants to, and he's a liar. So we'll focus on that together. Collectively. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers together. Thanks.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.